Hi, I'm Scott Willison, owner of the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. Outside today, it is below freezing, bright, clear, and sunny out. Kind of tough winter steelheading conditions. The rivers are low and clear. I'm going to share with you today a favorite fly I like to fish in those conditions. I call it the Zen Arcade. It's a tube fly that's pink and blue. Reminds me of a song on the Husker Du album, Zen Arcade, hence the name. So I am going to start out with a UV pink Pro Sport Fisher Flexitube, and I'm going to trim it up here. Just trim off a little bit of the back. I don't need the whole thing for the hook holder. I found I can take those trim pieces later and glue them back together and make myself more tubes. So insert that onto the flexi needle. And before I start my thread, I'm going to use a medium Flexiweight here. These aren't extremely heavy. They just kind of help the fly cut through the surface film and get down a little bit there. And it's also going to put some flash into my body. Then I'll start my thread. When tying on tubes, I do like to use fairly thin thread, either fluorescent orange 8/0 uni or 6/0 Danville. And I'll start a little thread base. And then I'm going to make a loop because I'm immediately going to start off with a dubbing loop here. Insert my little Stonefo dubbing twister that I really like. Then we're going to make a small little dubbing ball out of Kingfisher Blue ice dub, which is fast becoming my new favorite ice dub color. Just take a small amount of that, insert it into the dubbing loop, and then we'll spin it up. And I'm just going to make a little ball. It's going to hold that flexi weight in place so it doesn't slide around. And it's going to help to prop up the Marabou and Ostrich that I'll be using in this fly. So I'll trim the thread. I'll throw a couple half hitches in there. And I'm going to clip my thread for this next step. I'll take just a little bit of brush on Zap-A-Gap here. Coat those thread wraps. And then next I'm going to put a soft sonic disc, also from Pro Tubes there. These are just little silicone rubber discs that really work fantastically well as a prop for things like ostrich and marabou. And I'll slide that right in front of the dubbing ball there. I can restart my thread. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Kingfisher Blue Montana Fly Company Ostrich, and we're just going to kind of spread it around the hook here. Kind of as longer feelers, and do a little bit on top of the tube. And then we'll do some more bottom. And then we'll just trim off those butt ends there a little bit. Over the rest of it. And I've got a fluorescent blue Spey Quill Marabou feather here that I've already prepped by stripping away all the fluffy stuff at the base. And I'm going to tie that in by the tip. And then I'm going to take 2 or 3 wraps with this, just kind of stroking the fibers back as I go. By the way, I'm tying with the new Loon Ergo bobbin, and really enjoying it. It's really easy to control your thread tension just by squeezing the thread there where it goes into the bobbin. Alright, next I'm going to add just a little bit of flash. I've got some blue Krinkle mirror flash here. I'll take 2 strands, and I'm going to put one on either side of the fly. Tie it down in the middle, and then fold it back. Do the same thing on the other side of the tube. And then I've got some Grizzly Flashabou. This is the pink. And I'm going to cut 3 strands of that. And I'll tie 3 going down one side, and then I just fold the other 3 over to the other side here. Try to keep that marabou out of the way. Sometimes it helps just to have a glass of water or something nearby so you can kind of sweep your materials out of the way. And then I'm going to trim all my flash. I really don't like it all one length, so I'm just going to kind of randomly go in there with the scissors and cut them so that they're all different lengths there. And then finally we're going to finish this off with some fluorescent pink Schlappen. It's kind of a shoulder hackle. I've stripped away all the fluff from the stem there, and then I'm going to tie this in by the tip. And then we'll kind of stroke everything back as we're wrapping. usually get 3 or 4 wraps with this here. And we'll tie that off. And then I'm just going to build up a neat little head here with my thread. And then I'll do a couple of half hitches. Cut that thread. I'll then take the tube off my mandrel and cut it to length. I'll give myself just a little bit of extra there. I could burn the head of this here to kind of flare it and keep the thread from coming off, but we're just going to use a little bit of head cement here. Lock that thread into place. And there you have it, a very lightly weighted winter steelhead fly, the Zen Arcade, courtesy of the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. Thanks for watching. Alright, now that we have tied ourselves a fancy little tube fly here, I'm going to show you how I like to rig this one. So one of the nice things about the Pro Tube tubing is you've got your junction tubing that's going to, or your hook holder tubing built right into the main tube there. So there's nothing additional I need to attach to this fly. So I'm going to start by sliding the leader through the eye of the hook. In this case, just 10-pound Maxima. I'm going to take my hook of choice, which is a size 4 Gamakatsu B10S, and we will just tie ourselves an improved clinch knot. Snug that up nice and tight. Trim it a little bit. When you tie these hooks on, you can leave the tag end a little longer. That leaves a little more to jam into the tube. What I really like about these flies and this style of fly, it's tied in the round, so it's going to look the same from any angle. So you don't really have to worry about orienting that hook in any particular way. I'm just going to jam the eye of the hook into the junction tubing. And there we are. We're ready to fish. Zen Arcade. Thank you very much.